Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. Paulo P13 here, and this time I am going to be doing something a little different than usual here on this channel, but it's something I think I'm going to start doing a fair bit more often. There's so many infographics, so many resources that are coming out nowadays, so many videos by so many great, talented, smart content creators to help you all out. Now, sometimes it's a little hard to sort through it all, and it often left me feeling like, why should I put this out? Because there's a lot of resources that I feel like I agree with 95%. But sometimes I agree with less so, but it's basically what I'm saying is I'm going to be reviewing a couple of resources today. I'm going to do this through the fashion of some videos put together by two of the bigger content creators in this game. I'll show you who they are in a second when I go and show their stuff. And I'm just going to talk over their stuff, and of course I'm going to be linking their actual videos on these topics in the video description, so make sure you go check them out, hear what they have to say, where they differ from me, where they agree with me, and make up your own mind, because that's a huge part of this game, is, you know, making your own decisions on what you really think. I'm not going to tell you exactly what to think and what to decide at any point. I'm going to give you my best advice, and I'm going to try and help you think your way to what is the most successful thing possible for you. And that is my big goal, that watching my videos helps you make the best decisions. Sure, I really do hope that I can find some great things for you guys to do that are going to help you a lot. I know I've done it in the past. I've found some great teams that have been very helpful. But anyways, I think this is a great way of actually going over a lot of these resources and just helping you guys think through them, because I do agree with a lot of things, some things not so much. But anyway, today I'm going to be going over two different videos by two different content creators. One of them was based off an infographic that was made, one of them was not, but they are both talking, they're very recent, within the last week, about the best characters to build from raids. So yeah, that is what I'm going to be talking about today. I'm going to give you my thoughts on their lists, and some other things, just why I agree, why I don't agree with some things, and we'll see how this goes, and hopefully it goes pretty well. And trying out a new format, and again, still don't have my green screen, so it's going to make it a little more difficult for me getting all the aesthetic right, but I'm doing my best for you guys. Anyways, thank you a lot, and let's get into this. Okay, this is not relevant at all, but I was just heading over to do this to the screen where I was going to have to be to make this all work. But I just noticed something kind of funny. My hat, which is a gray hat, in this lighting, probably this amount of sweat on me, makes it enough blue that it thinks that it's the same color as my green screen for a part, and my hat is kind of see-through, so look at that, you can see events through the center of my head. That is all. That was funny. Anyways, let's actually get to the real content. Okay, the two videos that I'm going to be talking about are this video right here, the 15-star best characters to invest in for U7 success. Great video title, great topic, very helpful for a lot of people, and I agreed with a lot. And of course, this is by Tony. Let me scroll down because I'm not actually sure how high my head will be, but you can see that there's going to be a link to this video in the video description, and you can get to his channel from there. Great stuff. But this video here, and of course this one right here, which, oops, I'm hitting buttons that I'm not meaning to hit. That's unfortunate. Anyways, this video by Wolverthor, which is which raid tunes are best. This is technically a video talking about an infographic that he made with Punk and Yeti. So that is an important thing to remember, but that is just some thoughts for you. I'm going to be going over these two infographics videos, so on and so forth, and give my thoughts on them. First off, I'm going to start with the Wolverthor one, and I'm going to go through his more in order. Then I'm going to go over to the Tony one and go through it like that. Anyways, let's get into this. First, I got to find that spot in the video again. Okay, so it's actually the middle column that you're looking at. The other two columns aren't really relevant because this infographic covers a lot of stuff. Great infographic, honestly. Whether I agree with every single placement isn't relevant. It's a great infographic, great resource for you all to have. Again, anything I'm reviewing, it's not because I think it's garbage. If I thought there was something that came out that was just really bad, I would just straight up say, hey guys, I'm reviewing this because I think this is not great and I need to you guys know why. I think these are great resources for you, and that's why I'm talking about them. And I'm sharing these people's viewpoints or their resources because I think it's great for you guys to go find them if you don't see their stuff already. I know both of these guys have more subscribers than me, but that's not Maybe there's some of you guys that probably haven't seen their stuff. So I want to kind of direct people to that and then give my thoughts too. I think that's a great way to do this. Anyways, let me know your thoughts on this whole idea down in the comments or in the video description. You'll find a link to a Discord. Let me know if you like this or not, because of course, if you guys don't like me doing this and you'd rather me do something else, I'm fine and I will do that because this channel is for you guys. But anyways, middle row here, we start off with Black Bolt. It makes sense. Black Bolt is a great character in pretty much everything. For a while, he was literally Ultron 2.0 in usefulness. He was the best raid character, the best arena character, the best war character, the best blitz character, so on and so forth. And the reason why he's so successful in raids is he hits so hard, kills so many people. The ability to attack people when they drop below a certain percent of health is amazing. And he's not a glass cannon like Rocket was. So he's almost like Rocket 2.0, but with a high health pool, which is really good. So I understand completely why people would put him number 1. I have no gripes about him being in the top 10 of raid tunes, because that's what this list is going to be, the top 10 characters that he thinks. I personally wouldn't put him first, but that is so minuscule of a thought. I think personally I'd have him top 5 without a doubt. But my reasons are that I found some success with teams that you can go without him, and there are other characters that I find harder to replace. His straight damage, though, is wonderful, and it's not a bad situation to have him on at any point and time. So yeah, Black Bolt makes a ton of sense. Even if he wouldn't have been number 1 on my list, I can't argue with people putting him 1. There's good reasons for that. But yeah, let's move on to number 2. Just gotta find the spot in the video. Okay, number 2 here, we have Shuri. Actually, I think Shuri is in the perfect spot here. Her defense up, pretty much on command, is amazing. Short cooldowns, great healing, spawning with speed up, so you can actually get these abilities going. Really, really good character with a lot of use. She is easily the best healer for Ultimate 7. So yeah, I agree. Shuri should be really high up on this list. Amazing character. Pretty hard to say anything against that. So I am happy with this. I think if I were personally ranking Shuri, I would probably have her at 2 as well, but for different reasoning. There's another character that I would rank to number 1 than Black Bolt, but Shuri as number 2 is fine. I could see some people ranking her as number 1 because she is really the best healer you can have, which actually moves into character number 3. I would change the screen, but you can kind of see it here. It is Yo-Yo. He has Yo-Yo as number 3. Yo-Yo's passive alone is why he basically said this, and that is fair. Yo-Yo giving offense down to the opponents every single time they take a turn, that is incredibly powerful. The defense up from Shuri and the offense down from Yo-Yo is like the single best way of keeping your team alive imaginable in this game. When Yo-Yo came out, I'm just like, this character is going to be amazing for Ultimate 7, and she is. Only negative is not her fault, so it shouldn't affect her rating, is not everyone has high stars on her. But her focus is still enough to land those offense downs. She's just, because she's like 3 stars compared to a lot of 7-star characters, she's not as survivable. But that isn't her fault. Her as a character, easy, good position here. The basic getting an assist from an Inhuman works really well because it's usually going to be Black Bolt and Black Bolt assist, clearing buffs. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Ultimate giving energy with some AoE damage. If you don't have Black Bolt, using that special is nice, but if you do have it, don't use the special. Just a little bit of advice. But yeah, Yo-Yo, wonderful character. One that I would have said was the most important a little while ago. I still use her 90% of the time when I'm doing my Ultimate 7. Sometimes I don't. That's because I like mixing it up to try new things, to try and find better teams. So yeah, Yo-Yo, great choice, makes sense. Really helpful for all raids, especially late game raids, which then moves us to the next character. Alright, so you can see at the bottom here, technically this is the Yo-Yo slide, but you know, I can see the character, so I'm going to go with it. Number 4, they have Ebony Maw. Ebony Maw is an amazing, amazing character. There are teams that are built around him to make great Ultimate 7 teams that people use very late game. Personally, I think teams built around him are like the second best possible teams. Issue is, because even with my Ebony Maw, who is quite large at tier 14, and fully 7775 abilities, if you don't have another healer with him, he can just slowly run out of health because his cooldowns are so big. Even putting a Thanos next to him, there is a good chance he's not going to be able to use his ultimate enough to heal himself. So he's going to need another healer, and that can be something that can kind of slow a team down, having to go with 2 healers. His special is very nice, the defense up and offense down, but his ultimate is such an amazing move. Like, this is no backing up of this statement whatsoever, no basis for it, and I probably might not even agree with it, but I would say his ultimate might be a top 5 ability in the game. Just casually thinking that, like, it's that good of an ability. Rewinding opponent's turn meter, giving his team turn meter, stealing health, giving slow, insane ultimate. And that alone is a good reason to use it, but for me, I find him best used in specific situations, giving some like, there's so many good things about his kit, so it makes sense that he's this high. I would probably drop him a little bit, just because of the reason he kind of needs another character or so to kind of help him through that. Even though all of these characters that you pick do need to work together, I feel like it hurts him a little more, even if he really should be one of the top characters. It's kind of an in-between answer for me, and I'm not going to argue with 4. So 4, I'm fine with 4. Ebony Maw is a great character. So let me find us the next one. Okay, number 5 here is Symbiote SpiderMan. He is the character I would have as number 1. He's insanely good. He makes some of the other characters that are on this list, a little bit of a spoiler, are only on this list because of Symbiote Spider-Man. He makes an entire team. Any character that has that tag for the rest of the history of this game is going to be a good raid character and a good Dark Dimension character. He is so good. He took a character that was for a long time considered essential for Ultimate 7 and made that character basically obsolete, all on his own. His basic giving 2 turns of defense down, insane. His special, giving massive splash damage, extending debuffs, giving bleeds, insane. His ultimate stun and AoE damage and slowing a bunch of people, insane. Healing for all the damage he does, making all the symbiotes heal for all the damage they deal, healing all symbiotes and heroes, Spider-Verse allies, whatever they are, for all the debuffs given, insane. Like, just overall incredible. He is tanky, he hits hard, he gives debuffs, he makes your whole team survive, he is fast, and he just is incredible for this. And because of that, I put him at number 1. So yeah, he should be on this list. He is amazing if you get him built well worth your resources for so many modes in this game. Love using him, great character overall, fantastic. But I have him as number 1 on my personal list. I'm sure that there's some people that disagree with this, but you know, obviously Wolverthor disagrees with this, and they have him at number 5, which is completely fair. It's just personally, I would value Symbiote Spider-Man higher than Black Bolt, because Black Bolt is a bit more of a raw damage dealer. Yes, he can dispel, which is nice, but to me, Symbiote Spider-Man makes a team. Black Bolt is a huge addition to any team, but you can technically run teams without him and be very successful, while Symbiote Spider-Man makes the team, to me. That's my differentiation. Great character. Use Symbiote Spider-Man if you got him. Alright, up next we have number 6, and they have Ultron down. Yeah, Ultron is an amazing character for raids still. Even if he has fallen off in some of the other game modes, and the lack of red stars is making him not the unanimous number 1 choice anymore, he is still very good in raids. The amount of summons, the amount of turns he gets, the amount of buffs, all of it is great stuff. And personally, I usually use Ultron only for the final node, but he seems to fit very well for that final node. So, you know, that's pretty good value, being able to finish the final node of Ultimate 7. And Ultron's a great character still, so he makes sense. He should be on this list. Anything I'd be arguing about at this point is just placement. Where would I have him? I think I'd have him. This is instinctive. probably around 8, but you know, at the same point, I'm not arguing with 6. Great choice. I agree. Okay, on this screen you can actually see the next 2 characters, but we'll talk about them one by one. Next up we have Carnage. Carnage is a character I have been using in Ultimate 7 for a very long time. He works incredibly well with Symbiote Spider-Man, and makes them even better because he adds the fact of getting every time an enemy drops below a certain point of health, he gives them all the symbiotes healing and turn meter. Huge. That makes this team go fast. And one way to not take a lot of damage is just to never let the other team take turns, and Carnage kind of lets you do that. So to me, Carnage is even more valuable than this. That's why my main disagreement with this list is ranking the symbiotes a little higher and just dropping Black Bolt down a little. But that's generally speaking. Carnage, amazing character. His passive is incredible. Highly recommend maxing out his passive if you can. Does a lot of damage, does a lot of debuffs, the ability to spread it, and he's so fast. Great character. Very survivable. Also, really important point to remember. Characters that survive very well and can sustain are great for Ultimate 7. It's best if you can survive and sustain on your own without having to rely on specific characters to do that. And again, Carnage takes Symbiote Spider-Man, I say, makes a team, but Carnage takes the team that Symbiote Spider-Man creates and takes it to another level. Those two together are a powerhouse duo, which is also going to bring us to another character later on this list who turns it into like a powerhouse, like a key 3 that you can really build around and drop anything you want and be really successful. But if you can't bring all 3 of them, don't have the resources for all 3, Symbiote Spider-Man and Carnage, that's going to be a good base for anything you run. Next off, you can see Minerva just below there. Minerva is a great choice. Pros, her passive healing every time an enemy dies, great. Turn meter every time someone on your team dies, good. Not as important for raids because you're hoping your team doesn't die very much, but if they do, you do have her special, which will revive a character, which is pretty good. The ultimate is nice health steal, good healing, good damage. Basic, not really that important. The issue that I have with Minerva, she's kind of prone to die. Not because she's necessarily super squishy, even if she kind of is in comparison. In order to use Minerva, you usually have to drop people that help your team survive very well. So for me, she'd often be a great 6th choice for a team that you can only have 5 people on. So I understand her being on this list, and you can, if you have a big red star Minerva with high gear tier, that's amazing. Mine is tier 14, but I don't exactly remember how many red stars I have on her, but the red stars I have, she dies too quick. That's my only issue with her. Her kit makes perfect sense, and I know you can build some really good teams around her, or with her. You can do a good Maw and Order team with Thanos, Black Bolt, Ebony Maw, Minerva type base. That Symbiote Spider-Man is a 5th maybe. Just randomly spitballing some type ideas there. But Minerva is a great character. If she was more survivable, she'd be higher up on this list, and her tendency of dying kind of makes me want to drop her a little lower. But that's just, it's splitting atoms here. Not even splitting hairs, something smaller, atoms. So yeah, Minerva, great choice. Let's move on to number 9. Okay, number 9 is Crystal. There are good reasons for this. You can make a good raid team that has a Black Bolt, a Yo-Yo, and a Crystal as the base. She does some good damage with some good healing for Inhumans. Makes them a little faster, some extra survivability. It's all good things. My issue is, I personally think teams that choose to use other characters instead of Crystal are technically better. The main reason for this is, one of the best things about the Yo-Yo Black Bolt combo, which adding Crystal to is what you would be her purpose. If you're not using Yo-Yo and Black Bolt, you're really not going to be using Crystal. Is every basic Yo-Yo takes, Black Bolt gets that assist. Adding Crystal to that team makes it so Black Bolt won't be a guaranteed assist. It's a 50% chance. And that 50% difference of a Black Bolt assist versus a Crystal assist is pretty significant in my book. Now, I know there are people having huge success with Crystal. I just personally, I would have her as top 15, top 20. I wouldn't necessarily have her in top 10. because of that one detail, because it's a pretty significant detail, because it's a matter of whether you're getting things dispelled or not, let alone the significant damage difference. But if you have a high red star crystal, yeah, that's a really good base for a team that's going to make it very hard to defeat. So there's good reasons for this character. Great choice. I would just personally rank her a little lower, but I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to disagree and let me know in the comments, and I'm okay with that, because that's what this is about. Hearing what various people think about this so we can come to our own decisions as educated as possible. In number 10, we have Venom. Venom on his own has always been an interesting choice. I used him a bit way back in the day in some raids, but it wasn't really the best choice. But now you give him that symbiote tag, and Venom becomes incredibly successful on pretty much on the symbiote-based team. Don't use him if you're not using Carnage and you're not using symbiote Spider-Man. If you're using both of them and you want to throw Venom as that third, that is an amazing base. I don't always run that team, but I do most of the time run those three together because I love the symbiotes. I'm slowly and surely switching to becoming a bit of a symbiote main. I'm hoping to have 6 reds on all my symbiotes and all of them tier 14 in the near future, and just run through things because they're awesome. But the healing on every turn, like it's so much that I've discussed about the symbiotes. They're so powerful, they're so good. If you can get the symbiotes early game, you can build them up and run through a whole ton of content. Not only just all the raids in the game, but all the dark dimensions. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm super pro symbiote, so Venom definitely makes sense. And honestly, if it was me, whatever symbiote got added, or you add the symbiote tag to pretty much anyone in this game, they'd have a good case for top 10 raid characters in this. So yeah, this makes a ton of sense, and I am super for it. Overall, I do like the list. My order would be a little different. Some of the characters I would drop a little lower than they are here. Maybe a couple of them wouldn't make my list, such as Crystal. But overall, this is a really good list. I'm just going to go a little further in the video to kind of show you a bit of a spreadsheet that they had and just say, you know what, I highly respect the way they came to the conclusion of this list. And then talk about a couple of honorable mentions that they had and just some thoughts about that, and a character that I think did not get enough love. But I'll show you that in just a second. Okay, I went a little further ahead in where they're talking about the spreadsheet than I meant to, but it's fine. That's why I kind of left it. As you can see here, the thing I respect is they went through each character and they all ranked them individually and got an average of where they ranked them in order to determine the final list rankings. And I think that's pretty awesome that they would do their little system here. It's a great system. So if any of you guys are seeing this, much respect to that. Yeah, that's a great way to rank things. Multiple people give your opinions, get an average, and then kind of base it off of that. So yeah, if one person really feels strongly, it might help sway it, but it kind of gets a good consensus feel. And now talking about some of these people that didn't make their list, they've got Thanos, who again, Thanos is great for some teams. And I've been using Thanos and experimenting with him a bit because I have a really big Thanos now. And I love the Black Order team. So yeah, he could make some people's top 10s. I think it's fair to leave him a little out because on his own, he's not doing a whole lot. He needs teams to be built around him to get him to be as efficient as possible. And it's not really built around him. He's a side piece to other characters that are really the base of it. He just kind of helps. He's a bit of glue, if I may. Hela is a character a lot of people said should be used instead of Ultron for a time. And personally, I did find more success with Ultron. Hela is still a great character, and if you have her in your top 10, if you have her in your everyday Ultimate 7 team, any raid team, I'm not going to argue against that. We have Emma Frost, new to the game. So obviously, characters that are new to the game are either going to be ranked too high or too low. It's almost impossible to rank a brand new character perfectly correct right away. So here's my thoughts on that. I think with the hindsight, or with the little bit of time that has gone on since this video and since this infographic, if they were to make this again today, Emma Frost would be in this top 10. And honestly, she was pretty close. Just looks like one of the people didn't vote for any. There's a 30. They said that no one just didn't get ranked, which just means that it looks like one of them only ranked 10, only gave the rank for the top 10 and didn't give any honorable mentions. That kind of skewed the numbers a little. While looks like another one, gave rankings for a whole lot of characters. But yeah, Emma Frost will probably be on this list. Helm's good argument. Cull Obsidian, I'm shocked he's so high. X-23, she fits on some good teams. If you can use her as a character on the symbiotes, personally, I would love to see a big team with the 3 symbiotes, X-23, and I don't know, maybe a massive Squirrel Girl. The reason I'm saying Squirrel Girl is these are characters that have pretty good self-sustain, where yeah, they can heal and they can do these things, but they can actually heal themselves up, so they don't need a character to specifically heal them. The difference is X-23, she gets a lot of survivability and turn meter, which goes well with the symbiotes when others drop below. Well, every time X-23 takes a turn, she heals herself. And then she's going to be taking a lot of turns with the symbiotes, because anytime an enemy drops below a certain point of health, she gets turn meter just like the symbiote. So your team is going to go super fast. But that's a more specific situation. Squirrel Girl, same thing. Interesting wildcard ideas. Nothing I would necessarily say for sure. Invisible Woman, for a time, was definitely one of the characters you'd want. However, I think she's falling off a little. But for a starter Ultima 7 team, good choice. Phoenix, I would not be using Phoenix in Ultima 7. Use Phoenix for singular nodes if you can't get through them. Scientist Supreme, for a long time, people considered her essential. Symbiote Spider-Man made her irrelevant, and it's good because her RNG is crippling. You got characters like Captain Marvel. You got a lot of characters you can use. There's one character who has not gotten any love on this, who I think is a lot better than people realize, and that character is Mr. Sinister. As a lot of you may know, if you've been watching my videos / streams, I've been working on a complete beginner's guide for a long time. And the one thing that was holding me up, I was trying to find a very efficient Ultima 7 team that you can get, all from characters that you can start farming right away, just to kind of take out any RNG on premium orbs and so on and so forth, or difficulty of unlocking it, just so you can get yourself a solid end game raid team that you can slowly build along. Anyways, I was just going through and I was trying a lot of characters, and the character I came up with that worked was Mr. Sinister. He was the magical 5th spot that I needed in order to make my team work. He heals a lot. He gives a lot of healing, he has a lot of utility. And you know, Mr. Sinister, I would have him in my top 15. I might even slide, Emma Frost might have taken it. I think I might have him ranked as 11. But yeah, that's my thought. Overall, shout out to Wolverthor, Punk, and Yeti for this whole infographic, and shout out to Wolverthor for making this video. Great resource for you all, and I highly recommend checking out his channel, subscribing, and watching this video, getting your own thoughts on that. And let's move on to the next video. The next video is called the 15 star. I don't know what the star is about that. Possibly because they made a bit of an edit here, or he made a bit of a comment later, which I will show you in a second. But best characters to invest for Ultima 7 success. This is talking most specifically about Ultima 7, and the star, maybe the star had something to do with this comment here of adding Emma Frost to the list because she's awesome. The issue is not many people have her, and great character. She makes sense to be on these type lists, but again, timing, there's reasons why they're not. It's not that they're just overlooking it, it's just the timing of when these were made it a little hard to add her because there wasn't enough proof. So now this video, I recommend checking it out, check out his channel, subscribe, and watching this video, of course, hear all of his thoughts, because it's not really a full list. He's just saying if you pick out these characters and you build them up, mix and match, and you can make solid teams to have success in Ultima 7. And I really loved the format of this. I did. I think it was a very clever idea of just giving you kind of base teams and then other stuff that you can add and kind of mix and match and how it works and why they work as good characters. I'm not going to go too much in detail on this one as I did with the Wolverthor video, but I highly recommend checking it out because it's quite interesting actually, and a really good way of thinking about it. And again, that's kind of the goal of my channel, is helping you guys think through things in new ways so that you can be as successful as possible with whether you're free to play or whatever. Originally, when I made this channel, I was the smallest collection power of any content creator by a long shot. Now I've passed a few, but Anyways, it's my advice. The goal is to be applicable for everyone, whether you're free to play and new to the game, or an absolute whale at the end of the game. I hope that my advice is applicable to you, kind of helping you think things through. But anyways, this is just a little thing. This is a nitpick, completely not necessary to point out, but the title is the 15 best, and then I'm going to give him credit for 16 because Emma Frost, he was later added to the list even if she didn't make the video. But I'm just going to say something. He has more than 15 on his list here anyways. So, yeah, it's 16. 3 Inhumans, 2 Asgard makes 5. 3 Symbiotes makes 8. 2 Black Order makes 10. 4 Floaters makes 14. 2 AIM makes 16. And then Emma Frost makes 17. So he would have said 16 best, and then Emma Frost is 17. Yeah, I'm not sure why. Just odd. Not a big deal. Again, I really respect this video. This is a very different list than the list we just saw. Yes, it expanded the amount of people in it, but also with that, there's some characters I don't agree with. Yo-Yo, definitely. Black Bolt, definitely. I agree with, I can understand and argue with and against Crystal being in the top 15. Personally, I think she would be around 15, 16 for me, so actually maybe 16, 17, because I keep forgetting Emma Frost. Yeah, like I said, hard to remember. But yeah, I'm not going to argue against that. Hela makes sense. Thor, personally, I think top 15 is however big this list is, I wouldn't put Thor that high. Thor's a little high for my opinion, to me, but again, that is a bit my opinion. But I can't really make a solid argument for why he'd be this high, other than he has some synergy with Hela and a nice stun. But overall, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't agree with that. The 3 symbiotes, perfect. Thanos, Ebony Maw, I agree. Ultron, definitely. Shuri, definitely. Minerva, definitely. Invisible Woman, maybe. She can be argued for. Same way that you can kind of make an argument for Groot being a little higher than he gets credit for, as it's a good, especially beginner choice. For the beginning parts, when you first get into it, you can drop a Groot as that 5th spot. You can drop an Invisible Woman, and it can stabilize your team and help you get into it, but it's probably not going to be the best choice unless you have a really powerful one later on. Then there's 2 characters. These last 2 characters are my biggest ones. I wouldn't have either of them on the list, and that is Scientist Supreme and Graviton. I understand his reasoning, and I understand why people would say it. I just disagree. Scientist Supreme is volatile. She can help you a lot in some situations, but she also hurts you a lot. She can slow you down and cause you to time out. She can get your team killed, and she has a massive tendency of getting herself killed, which is not helpful for Ultima 7, especially if you're relying on her for a revive and then she dies. What are you going to do? So I wouldn't recommend a character that you just don't know what's going to happen. I think one of the best ideas for something like Ultima 7 is having a character you can rely on and understand exactly what's going to happen. And I don't believe Scientist Supreme to be that. And I think Graviton, most of his value comes with that specific interaction with Scientist Supreme. So personally, I would remove both AIM characters. But I know some people in the community are adamant that AIM is the right choice. They're not as good as the rest of the characters on this list for it. You can do them, but they're not the most ideal choice. So personally, I wouldn't recommend that. And again, no love for Mr. Sinister. Bit tragic. But anyways, guys, overall, these are great resources. Check out their channels. Check out these videos. Hear what they have to say. Hear what they're thinking. And let me know what you guys are thinking. You can do that in the comments, or you can join my Discord. There's a link to that in the video description. Let me know if there's anything else you guys want me to review. I've seen a couple of other things that I just want to talk about. Again, from people that I respect. I haven't seen anything that has come out that I'm just like, this is horrendous. I need to review and tear this apart. Because again, that's not really my thing. I don't like tearing things apart. I like understanding what people are thinking and kind of thinking along with them, or kind of thinking against, or kind of finding the pros and cons and helping you guys come up with your own thoughts. But anyways, let me know your guys' thoughts. If you like this, make sure you leave a like. Share this video if you think it's going to help anyone, and subscribe if you want to, because that would be pretty great. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this, and I do hope this was helpful. And as always, I'm here to help.